On a cold autumn night, Lucas, a retired astronomer, was rummaging through a dusty, forgotten box in his attic when he came across an old, heavy radio. It was vintage, with large knobs and an analog dial that looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. Curious, he plugged it in, half expecting it wouldn't work. But to his surprise, the machine crackled to life, filling the room with static and strange, distorted hums. Lucas adjusted the dial, tuning through stations that mostly hissed or buzzed. But as he reached a certain frequency, the static abruptly cleared. He was met with an eerie, rhythmic sound, something between a heartbeat and a series of coded pulses. It was unlike anything he'd heard in his years of working with signals from space. The sound pattern repeated over and over, and though he couldn't understand it, Lucas felt certain it was a message. As he listened, the pulses became hypnotic. Suddenly, he realized the rhythm was slightly changing, almost like it was reacting to his movements or breathing. He experimented, tapping a pencil on the desk in sync with the sounds. The frequency shifted as if responding to his taps, then began emitting a low, rumbling hum, building into a crescendo. That night, he couldn't sleep. He spent hours at the radio, writing down the strange patterns and recording them on an old tape deck. Each time he tuned in, the sounds would evolve, as if the signal were alive, adapting to him. Lucas began to wonder if he was really hearing a message from a distant star system, or if it was something much closer, yet still alien. Days turned into weeks, and Lucas became obsessed with the signal. His friends and family noticed his disappearance from their lives. He ignored calls, didn't leave the house, and barely ate. He discovered, through some rudimentary frequency analysis, that the sounds didn't align with any known cosmic phenomena. They didn't even seem like traditional radio waves. Instead, they seemed layered, each frequency intertwining with another, hiding meanings in their patterns. One night, as the signal grew more intense, the radio emitted a brief flash of light, then a new sound, a single, human-like voice. It was faint, like a whisper through static, but it was unmistakable. "Lucas!" His blood ran cold. Who or what knew his name? Trembling, he answered, "Who are you?" The voice, distorted and distant, replied, "We are waiting." Lucas realized the signal was a bridge, a link to something beyond Earth. But the more he listened, the more he sensed it was a warning too. A voice from a dark place, beckoning, reaching out across galaxies, or perhaps dimensions. The signal began pulsing faster, the heartbeat rhythm racing, filling his mind with visions he couldn't explain. Vast, empty landscapes of stars, shadows moving across lightless worlds, and an unending sense of loneliness. But it wasn't his loneliness. It felt ancient, foreign, as if he were experiencing memories that weren't his own. In a final burst of static, the voice said, "Prepare." Then the radio fell silent, dead, like any ordinary machine. No matter how much he tried, Lucas could never revive the mysterious signal. But from that night forward, he felt it, a strange, quiet connection with something vast and unfathomable, an invisible presence that watched, waited, and perhaps one day would arrive.